Hey agents, what's the best seller leads for the end and last quarter of 2025? Let's quickly go over that so that you can have a successful end of the quarter, end of the year, so you can get more done. Folks, market's different, markets change. Folks, that's how it goes. I know some people are like super sad and super depressed because they're like, I have no business, I don't know what to do. And some people maybe a little bit, they say they're busier than ever and they're not, okay? The market's different. Market's a little bit slower unless you're in a literally different market or different segment or new construction, okay? You're seeing different trends. And that's one of the things I want to quickly talk about. We want to follow the trends, but when I got into real estate, I was finishing my degree at the University of Utah. I was getting my marketing degree. I was in my last semester. I was working for American Express, okay? I was doing a tuition reimbursement program and I was a customer service rep for it was called Service Recovery Team. And it was basically handling the most escalated calls. So I was very used to being on the phone and trying to just problem solve. Well, when I ended up getting into real estate, I ended up having a friend that called. I got into loans for 3 years. I did great loans, buying, flipping homes. My agent said, look, you need to get into real estate. I did. And folks, guess what? I closed that year. I think I closed not quite 30 transactions in my first year, very close. I did get Rookie of the Year for my little brokerage that we were with. And guess what, folks? And it was actually a big brokerage. I think we had almost 500 people there. And me and Dave Stocco, both of us. So just so you know, it wasn't just me, it was also Dave. But what I'll tell you is I was used to being on the phone. So here's the top 5 things I want you to think about, okay? Is the number one people that you can have conversations with, that you should be talking to, is your sphere of influence. And I know you hear it before, but just hear me out, okay? Who do you do business with? You do typically business with people that you know, right? The people that you know, you're social with. The people that you're social with, you have a rapport with them, right? You have time with them. Just how we're having this video, sometimes people don't even know me, but they spend time with me here. And so when I meet them, it's as if we kind of know each other because they've spent time with me, okay? So what I want you to think about with your sphere of influence is just have better conversations with them. Have more consistent conversations. Think about the highest level conversation versus the lowest. Face-to-face is number one. If you can book a lunch with one of your best people or somebody that's like this crazy person that can refer you 20 deals a year, guess what? You got to book that appointment today. I always had a list of 20 people that I would call at a minimum every day. 5 of those is sphere of influence, okay? Folks, my very first week in real estate, I called my entire sphere. They connected me with one person. That same person that I connected with, I'm still doing business with today. I think I've done 30 deals with them. You know what I mean? And that was in my first week of real estate. And so it compounds over time. So my suggestion is reach out to your sphere, but make sure you're not being weird and just saying things like, I need your business. I want to close a deal. It's easy to say, hey, look, I'm trying to connect with you. Look, I'm in real estate. I'm trying to get people into a home before the holidays or help them get things sold so it can go on at the very first of the year. Who do you know that I can help, right? It doesn't have to be odd. You can just connect with them. You make it just very fluid and just you're having a conversation. It doesn't have to be odd. Just know how do you talk to friends? You talk to them. You know, if you need to role play it, guess what? I will role play with you. You have to have more conversations. You have to talk to more people in order to get more opportunities to come your way. My favorite quote, opportunity comes to those that are prepared. How are you prepared? By having those phone calls, you're going to know a little bit more about the market. You're going to have the trends. You're going to have the data. So let's go to the next point, okay? The next point that I wrote down here, absentee owners and landlords. That was one of the things I always freaking called. In fact, I want to just have you think about this. When they post them in the newspaper, I would save every single newspaper ad of every single year, and then I would file it. And so let's just say it's November of 2025. I would pull up from the year before of October, everything that they were marketing because I knew those leases were coming up. So I'd call that landlord. If they had a vacancy, I'd say, hey, it looks like you have a vacancy. Have you considered selling? Or if I was calling on this list, I'd say, hey, I know I called, and some of them would pick up the phone and be like, hey, Justin, how are you? Because I would call them so much because they would have multiple properties and they'd come up different times of the year. And I'd say, hey, I'm just doing a quick follow-up. It looks like you have your property on 123 6th Street, whatever it is. Hey, I'm just checking to see if you have a vacancy coming up. If you'd like to maybe put that on the market or you want to look at more opportunities that can make you more money. They always loved having a conversation. And so even if they weren't ready, they were ready down the road. And that was always good opportunities for me. I purchased multiple of my current residential. If I think about my residential, multifamily, and commercial properties, half of them have come from conversations with people that I've known. not just on the market. So just think about that. Have a great sales business so you can have an amazing investment business, okay? Part 3, I want you to think about past listings or expires. Now, folks, people that sometimes don't call, it scares them, but I want you to think about people that were a year, 18 months ago. They still want to sell, but they're on the sidelines being like, ooh, interest rates are so high. Ooh, inventory's a little bit higher than before. Ooh, Susie the neighbor that bakes cookies that sells 2 homes a year told me that, ooh, nothing's selling right now. They're on the sidelines. So help them understand. Whoa, folks, you got to think about the following, okay? I want you to think about that these folks want to do something, they just don't have a reason to. So you have to have a compelling reason to help them. Meaning, did you know that a number of homes are getting multiple offers when they're priced right, when they look right, and when they're marketed right, but other homes are just sitting, getting stale, getting old, right? And you just have that conversation. You're showing you're the expert because you've done the research. So spend some time. You've got to spend the time doing your research, understanding the market. Next point I put here, okay? Builder trade-ups. Builder opportunities. I've always liked to work with builders at a certain time frame, but you don't even have to say, well, I can't get a builder account. Folks, you don't have to get a builder account, okay? Sometimes the builder account can be a complete nightmare, okay? They'll nickel and dime you sometimes, and sometimes they'll compensate you great. My point is that they may have somebody that can help you, can go in and say, look, I know you have a number of people coming in. They may need a home to sell quickly. I'm your resource. Let me help you out, right? Make a dynamic with those people. It may not be today. Just think about your planting seeds like a farmer, okay? A farmer is consistently planting seeds, and sometimes things will come up. And the last thing I just want to mention is your social media and your Facebook and your groups. Remember how I talked about who do you do business with? Folks, we do business with the people that we have communication with, right? Think about when people are posting on different things, or they're saying, hey, I'm looking at moving in Salt Lake. Don't just go back and post, call me. No, you private message them. I would suggest, if you can, try to do a Zoom, or even send them a video so they can see you're a real person and not a bot, and just say, hey, look, I saw your post. Just so you know, like, I can't tell you how many good opportunities we have. Let me tell you what we did. We got this one under contract at this. We did this and this and this. If you're looking for this property or even an off-market opportunity, call me. Let me see what I can do. Now, folks, that scares people sometimes. They're like, well, how the heck am I going to find an off-market opportunity? Folks, you ever heard of KSL? You ever heard of for sale by owners? Those are off-market opportunities. I found one this week. It was a for sale by owner. We called them, talked to them, had a conversation with them. Like, you got to be engaged in the market, right? Because when you're engaged, and you can really, what you focus on will grow. And so I would just say, if you're having a hard time, I've been there. There's been times where I've been like, dang, where's my next deal coming from? But I promise you, if you focus on your mindset, focus on your skill set, be disciplined about reaching people every single day, I'm telling you, it's a complete game changer. But folks, if you want to know, how would you talk to people? Maybe some options of how you could communicate with them. Things that you're saying, look, I kind of want to work with people that are like me, that are kind of doing business like you are. Call me. I'm happy to share with you some things that maybe have been best practices that I've done, or things that I've learned that'll help you along the way. Folks, best of luck towards the big end of the year. I think it's a great market if you make it that way and you're strategic about it. Anyway, good luck. Talk to you soon.